Greetings, everyone. I hope you and your family are finding some positive moments, and I hope the things that we do at school are positive for you. So the more that you get engaged in at school, online learning, the more positive experiences you can have. Today, I'm going to read Horton Hatches the Egg. It's a book written by Dr. Seuss in 1940. That means it's 80 years old. It's a book about all sorts of the roars criteria, primarily responsibility, but you can get a lot out of all of them. So today's reading, Horton Hatches the Egg. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird, hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored and I've kinks in my leg. From just sitting here day after day. It's work, how I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly out for a rest, if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, cried the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest? The elephant laughed. Why, of all the silly things, I haven't feathers, and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. Tut, tut, answered Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you could do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can't, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back. Why, I'll never be missed. Very well, said the elephant, since you insist. You want a vacation? Go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg and try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Maisie and fluttered away. The first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done before I get on it. I must weigh a ton. Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. Then Horton the elephant smiled. Now that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. And he sat all that day, and he kept the egg warm. And he sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured, and it lightened, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish he'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. But Maisie by this time was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach. And having such fun, such a wonderful rest, she decided she'd never go back to her nest. So Horton kept sitting there day after day. As soon as it was autumn, the leaves blew away. And then came winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant is faithful, 100%. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round and they shouted with glee, Look! Horton the elephant's up in a tree. They taunted and they teased and they yelled, How absurd! Old Horton the elephant thinks he's a bird. They laughed and they ran all away, and Horton was lonely. He wanted to play. But he sat on the egg and he continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles were far from ended. For while Horton sat there, so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. Did he run? He did not. Horton stayed on that nest, his head held high, and he threw out his chest. And he looked at the hunters as if much to say, shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant is faithful, 100%. And the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front and pullers to drag on. They dug on his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. We're off, the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy, 100%. Then out on the wagon and onto a ship, out over the ocean, and oh, what a trip. Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray, and Horton said, day after day, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. But, oh, I am seasick, 100%. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at least in the town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with a lurch, when Horton the elephant, still on his perch, tied onto a board that could just barely hold him. Bump! Horton landed. And then the men sold him. Sold to a circus, then week after week, they showed him to people 10 cents a peek. Poor Horton grew sadder and the farther he went, but he said as he sat there in the hot, noisy tent, I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. Then, one day, the circus happened to reach a town way down south, not far from Palm Beach. And dwaddling along way up high in the sky, who of all people should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Maisie, still on vacation, and still just as lazy. And spying the flags in the tents just below, she sang out, what fun, while I'll go to the show. And she swooped from the clouds through the open tent door. Good gracious, gasped Maisie, I've seen you before. Poor Horton looked up, his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk, there rang out the noisiest, ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he'd sat on 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a live scratching. My egg! Shouted Horton. My egg? Why, it's hatching. But it's mine! Screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done. Now she wanted it back. It's my egg, she sputtered. You stole it from me. Get off my nest and get out of my tree. Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart. And out of the pieces of red and white shell, from the egg that he sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears, and a tail, and a trunk just like his. And the people came shouting, what's this all about? They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. It's an elephant bird! And it should be. It should be. It should be like that. Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant. And they sent him home happy 100%. Horton hatches the egg. We're trying to be faithful to you. We care about you. Hold tough. We'll see you soon.